This is your chance of dying if you get the COVID vaccine. This is your chance of winning the lottery. And these are your odds of dying from actually getting COVID, which is 5 million times more likely than either of these.
Dr. Levy wrote that, quote, evidence is mounting and indisputable that mRNA vaccines cause serious harm, including death, especially among young people. Yes or no? Are you aware that he said that?
I wasn't aware he said it, but I think I agree with it.
How many cases are there of people dying where it's directly linked to the vaccine? Like, where are all these people dying from the vaccine? Well, here's Congress.gov. Claims that millions of people have died from the COVID-19 vaccine are unfounded. Well, there you go. Is there even one guy that died? For example, the CDC detected a rare adverse effect called myocarditis in a small number of cases. However, the risk of myocarditis from COVID-19 itself has been determined to be substantially greater than the danger from vaccination. Myocarditis is an inflammation of the cardiac muscle. Myocarditis can progress to inflammatory cardiomyopathy, ventricular remodeling, and cardiac dysfunction due to chronic inflammation. Symptoms can include shortness of breath, chest pain, decreased ability to exercise, and an irregular heartbeat. I love how this is the worst thing they could find. Temporary condition that makes it a little harder to breathe. Like, guess what also makes it really hard to breathe? Having fucking COVID-19. The benefits of vaccination in preventing severe illness and hospitalization far outweigh the potential risks associated with these adverse effects. Healthcare professionals vigilantly monitor and manage potential adverse reactions to ensure the safety and well-being of individuals receiving the vaccine. How many people actually had these adverse effects happen to them? Like one guy? Did one guy have cardiac arrest? I want to see the percentages. I want to see the percentages of motherfuckers that actually had those. Myocarditis. 5 cases per million vaccines. 5 people out of 1 million get a condition that apparently has no lingering effects and goes away on its own. There have been 55 cases of death after COVID-19 vaccination reported, and a causal relationship has been excluded in 17 cases. In the remaining cases, the causal link between the vaccine and death was not specified, 8, or considered possible, 15, probable, 1, or very probable demonstrated, 14. Okay, so out of 8 billion doses of the COVID-19 vaccine, 15 of them probably resulted in someone's death. Not even guaranteed, just probably. Are you going to take that chance over whatever the mortality rate for COVID is? Like, assuming all 55 cases of death after COVID-19 vaccination were actually caused by the vaccine, the mortality rate of the COVID vaccine, 0.000006875%. And that's assuming all of these deaths were actually caused by the COVID vaccine. What? This is your chance of dying if you get the COVID vaccine. This is your chance of winning the lottery. You're very slightly more likely to die from the COVID vaccine than to literally win the lottery. No, not even. You know what? They're pretty much the same. You have the same chance of winning the lottery as dying from the COVID vaccine. And these are your odds of dying from actually getting COVID, which is 5 million times more likely than either of these.
Let's clear this up right now, Secretary Kennedy. Will you tell America that all adults and all children over 6 months of age are eligible to get a COVID booster at their local pharmacy today?
Anybody can get the...
What's the actual efficacy of the boosters? I think that's kind of like a weird line of attack to take against him. The boosters might genuinely be really necessary, but I think the biggest thing to fight back on is this insane line that tons and tons of people are dying from the COVID vaccine. Just like straight up misinformation.
That mRNA vaccines cause serious harm, including death, especially among young people. Yes or no? Are you aware that he said that?
I wasn't aware he said it, but I think I agree with it.
You agree?
That's insane. No one's going to listen to that and think he means, 55 people out of 8 billion died from getting the COVID vaccine. They're going to hear that and think, holy shit, this is killing like 5% of people that take it. This is a super dangerous vaccine. Like, if you're going to say it has a chance of causing serious harm, you should at least mention the fact that the chance is comparable to winning the lottery.
I'm saying, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the pharmaceutical
Whoa. Whoa, careful there, bro.
industry is
Whoa, man, careful with that arm.
greedy.
What actually is an mRNA vaccine? How does it work? How is it different from a traditional vaccine? Well, to understand that, you would need to understand what mRNA does in the first place. mRNA is used in your body's cells in a process called protein translation. The mRNA over here is used to make important proteins that your body needs to function. Different strands of mRNA encode for different proteins. Now, this process is not inherently dangerous. It happens 1,000 times in your body per second, so it's just a normal thing that trillions of cells in your body have to do. Now, with the COVID vaccine specifically, the protein that's produced is known as the spike protein. This is a protein that naturally occurs in the real COVID virus. Now, the effect of this is your body sees that protein and it makes antibodies to fight it off. No, the protein itself isn't dangerous, but the antibodies would help you to actually fight off the virus if it really entered your body. Now, I don't know about you, but this process personally sounds a lot safer than a traditional vaccine. Not to say that a traditional vaccine isn't safe, but it just sounds scarier. With traditional vaccines, it's not just the spike protein that enters your body. No, they inject the actual virus. The spike protein is just a part of the virus, but a traditional vaccine gives you the whole virus. But regardless, this is a new technology, so I understand people's fears about it. But why is the mRNA vaccine actually dangerous? By what mechanisms would it be able to harm the human body? It's pretty unconvincing to me to just say it's a new technology without citing tangible ways it could harm the human body. You wouldn't apply this standard to other things. Like, imagine if you saw an item at your grocery store and you looked at the ingredients and said, oh, this combination of ingredients has never been tested before. Therefore, we have to do rigorous testing to make sure it's not dangerous. You would have to actually point out which ingredient, what part of it do you think would harm the body. And I think that would be a lot more convincing. Luckily for us, people against the vaccine have actually explained some mechanisms by which it could harm the body. So let's take a look at those. Up first, we've got spike protein toxicity. Some people claim that the spike protein produced by the mRNA vaccine may be inherently harmful. The issue is, this problem isn't exactly unique to the mRNA vaccine. Just to be clear, this protein is just one part of the virus. If you're concerned about this, you should probably be a lot more concerned about traditional vaccines, which actually contain the entirety of the virus, albeit in a dead or weakened state. There's also very little evidence that this is a real issue and can cause serious problems. Another concern is the immune system attacking the body's own tissues. Once again, this is something that's not unique to the mRNA vaccine. This is something that's often cited for traditional vaccines as well. Therefore, it's not really relevant to the argument that we should tread with caution because the mRNA vaccine is a new technology. Also, once again, there's no real evidence that this is a massive concern or that it's caused complications in people. But what about lipid nanoparticles? Well, if you didn't know, lipid nanoparticles are the delivery system of the COVID-19 vaccine. They shield the mRNA in the vaccine until it can actually make it inside of your cells. Some people say that these nanoparticles could have adverse effects on the body. Once again, not really a massive concern. A lot of the components of the nanoparticles are already naturally occurring in the human body, so that's going to be stuff like cholesterol and phospholipids. That's obviously not going to harm your body because it's already in your body. The other components of it, like the ionizable lipids, are usually cleared from your body by your liver in a few days or weeks anyways. And even if they do temporarily cause side effects, it's going to be really harmless stuff like a sore arm maybe. But what if the mRNA takes over your cell like a facehugger and turns into permanent DNA to alter your body forever? Did you consider that? Bet you didn't consider that? Well, although this sounds a little scary, it doesn't really hold up. The mRNA never makes it to the nucleus where all the DNA is. It chills out over here in this area called the cytoplasm. In fact, it's completely unable to enter the nucleus. Even if it somehow magically made it inside of the nucleus, what would happen is it would just chill out there temporarily before it was destroyed, which would happen pretty quickly. mRNA is really fragile, which is why it needs to be preserved so carefully. It's not going to make it long in a cell's nucleus. But even if it somehow weren't destroyed, to actually turn it into DNA, you would need an enzyme called reverse transcriptase. Now, the nice thing about this enzyme is it doesn't naturally occur in the human body. It just doesn't. None of your cells have it. The only way you would have reverse transcriptase in your cells is if you had HIV, but at that point you have bigger things to worry about. So no, the mRNA isn't going to turn into DNA in your cells. So fortunately for us, none of the mechanisms people cite by which the vaccine could actually harm your body really hold up. Does this alone mean that the vaccine is 100% safe? No, there can always be unseen effects that we find out about later down the line. However, with all this time that's passed since the pandemic, I think we have enough data to safely say that it's a pretty safe and effective treatment against COVID-19. So, unless something new comes out, don't trust the misinformation coming out from people like RFK Jr. Thank you so much for watching, and peace out.